Hi everyone, this video is to show you how to do the frequency functions in order to describe your data set in PSPP, and in particular I'm going to focus on how to deal with missing data, because this is where PSPP differs substantially from SPSS. So in terms of running your frequencies or your descriptives, we go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics and Frequencies. Just note that I am using my Brumbies data set from my PhD. It's the raw data set with all the missing data and before it was recoded, because I'm using this because the Delhi Depot data set that comes with the textbook has already been cleaned. So it's already had this process done to it in order to make it the perfect data set. So I'm showing you how to go from your raw data set with all of its missing data into something that can actually be used to analyze. So I know I have missing variables in this item here, my friend's something 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 has done. So I select it on this left hand column and I move it to the middle. And in this box where it says statistics rather than SPSS, which is in a separate option down the side, PSPP just lets me scroll through these boxes and select everything that I want. So I also want standard error of the mean, variance, skewness, error of my skewness, range, mode, kurtosis, standard error of the kurtosis, median, and I don't need sum. I can tell it to include missing values, so I will. I also want to look at charts because I like looking at charts. So it will come up blank, but in this case I'm going to choose a histogram and superimpose a normal curve. I'm going to change it from frequencies to percentages up the top here though. And I hit continue and then OK. And it's flashing down the bottom, so I need to go to my output window. So here is my frequency output that has been generated from my analysis. So here we have a frequency table which of all the options, all of them were selected, and we have the raw counts of the number of people who said each of these along this measurement scale, and we have the percent, and then we have a cumulative percent over here. So in terms of cumulative percent, how you analyze it is that 50% of people do not agree with this statement. It gives some indication of where your middle ground is when it comes to the percentage of people who are agreeing or disagreeing, which can help when it comes to recoding these continuous variables into a categorical variable, so you can run things like a t-test or an ANOVA analysis where you need your data in categorical form. So here we have our descriptive statistics. So now we see that our mean is 3.4, which is slightly above average, or the theoretical average of 3. We have our standard error of the mean, which is 0.06, which is relatively low. We have mode, which is the middle number on the most selected option, which is agree. We have our standard deviation, 0.93, which is fairly close to 1 standard deviation, so it's not too bad in terms of its dispersion. Variance is 0.86, kurtosis 0.23, skewness minus 0.51, so we are skewed to the right. Range is 4, and our minimum and our maximums. And the median, the middle number, that if we lay out all of the choices in a row from lowest to highest, the middle number is 3. So here is the histogram that shows with a bar chart the counts or the percentage of people selecting the various measurement options, and then we see also the normal curve over the top of it. What's important here is we have 4 missing respondents. So missing, we have 206 that are valid, we have 4 that are missing. So unlike SPSS, which has an automated system to deal with missing data, in PSPP, you need to do a slightly more, what would we call it? It's a more fiddly process in order to deal with your missing data. So every time you have a missing data in PSPP, we need to go through the following. So I go back to my data file and I go to transform. And I want to recode into different variables. This is the safer option. It ensures that if you make a mistake in your recoding, you can go back to the original variable without too much trouble. So we choose recode into a different variable. So again, I choose the same variable that I looked at when I did my descriptives. So I select it and I move it with the arrow into the middle. I then select it here and I give it a new name. So I'm going to call it CASP9 new, and the label is missing value recode of CASP9, and I hit change. Then what I want to do is say old and new variables. So the first thing we do is we select system or user missing on the left hand side. So this is telling it that we want the blanks within our data set, and on this side we input the mean. So if you remember from our descriptives, our output, oops, where'd it go? Show me the output. No, it's not going to show me the output, damn it. So it won't let me show you the mean at the moment, but so I can't, oops, it keeps disappearing on me. Hang on. So let's try this again. So I select this one, old and new variables, system or user missing. So over on this new value box, I need to tell it to input the mean for this variable. And I know this from my doing the frequency, and it's 3.4. This means that where there's any missing number, where you have a blank in the within this particular variable, CASP9 down here, missing variables, missing data will be replaced with the mean. The reason we use the mean is that in most statistical analysis, the mean then becomes something that it does not affect the outcome of the actual analysis itself, but it also, but in some statistical analysis, you need to have complete data sets for them to be valid. So so once I put in 3.4, I then say add. And then the next thing I do is go all other values on the left hand side, and then I say on the right hand side a new value, I say copy old values and I say add. So this means that it's if someone said 1, if someone said 2, if someone said 3, someone said 4, someone said 5, all of that data is being kept. I select continue and I say OK. So I can scroll across to the end of my data set here, and here we have my new variable that I've added. And as you can see, this was previously a missing piece of data, which I have now inputted the mean for. So in terms of your variables in PSP, you need to go through all of the variables that have missing data and do this procedure. Like I said, there's a few more steps and it's a bit more tedious than it is in SPSS, but it is required in order to have a nice and clean data set. So in order to check that I have the recoding of these missing values has been done correctly, I rerun my descriptive analysis, my frequencies. So instead of CASP9, I need to get my recoded variable, CASP9 new. I can leave everything else the same at this point. I say OK. Then I go to my output window, which now we see that there's this one added as 3.4 where I have 4 responses there and I have 0 missing data. So now I know that all of my respondent information has been accounted for. I have a nice clean data set with no missing data, which is what we are desiring.